Hello and welcome back to another episode of Subnautica. It's been some days and nights since I have recorded and uploaded a video, but before we will go further into the story of Subnautica, I by myself was searching in the web for some good building tutorial, but because a lot of them were outdated, I decided to do a quick one on my own, which is in the current state. We will go through stuff like simply how to build your base, the hull integrity, how to prevent your base from flooding, things like that. This is a pretty basic tutorial, so you can discover some building experience by your own, and I think we will start right now. Alright, first things first, in order to build, it's essential to have a habitat builder, which I have encrypted right here. It's this little friend, and you build your habitat builder in your fabricator, and all the resource requirements, what it takes to build your habitat builder is listed in your fabricator. So if you want to know how to build it, go to your fabricator and take a look. Once you have done that, and once you have found a good spot for your base, by simply pressing the right mouse button, it shows up your construction screen, which holds every base segment you can place down. And for the beginning, I do recommend to start with a foundation. I do later on explain why foundations are important. You can place down base segments when it shows up green. If it shows up red, you can't place them down. I want to start right over here with my first foundation. Let me attach two other ones. Alright, and the next thing you will build after you build your foundations is probably the first compartment. And you can place down your compartments everywhere you want. You are also able to rotate the most of the base segments by scrolling your mouse button. I want to have mine right here, and I also want to attach a glass compartment on it. Now to get in here, it needs a hatch. You have to attach a hatch. You can attach it on the side or on the top or simply on the front. I want to have one on the front and one on the top. Now let's hop right into it.
Warning, emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
And as you heard, there is no power right now. There are different ways to power up your base, but for the beginning I recommend to start with some solar panels. It's the easiest and cheapest way to power up your base. Later in the game you get things like the bioreactor or the nuclear reactor, but in order to build these both, you first have to place down a multi-purpose room, which you get later in the game. So that's the reason why I do recommend to start with some solar panels. We will do that real quick. And what's pretty important to know is if you want to place down a solar panel or things like that, in order to build some base segments like a solar panel, you need to unlock them by scan the Pacific blueprint fragments, which are scattered around the world. If you haven't done that yet, you are not able to place these solar panels. They simply won't show up in this construction screen here. But once you have done that, you simply attach it to your foundation. And as you can see, it powers up your base, everything is lined up, and the more solar panels you attach, the more power you get. And of course these are solar panels and depends on the sunlight. Keep in mind that at night time these solar panels won't charge your base.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay, and if you're playing in the survival modus, you normally have, if you're standing in your base, up in the middle of the screen, the power screen, which tells you how many power your base have. So keep that in mind. What's also good to know is if you are in the survival modus and let's say you want to deconstruct this hatch right here by pressing the Q button, in the survival modus you get all the resources back you get into. And that's pretty good to know. Let me attach that right back. And you have the multi-purpose room, which gets attached on your compartments. let me build a hatch right here to enter it. Yeah, and these multi-purpose rooms holds stuff like the bioreactor. It goes in the middle of the room, you can't place it anywhere else. It's the same with the nuclear reactor. And because it's called a multi-purpose room, you can do other things out of it, like let's say a bedroom once you have unlocked it, or just a locker room, or where is it? You can place down lockers everywhere for a lot of storage room, and yeah, you can do things like that. You can also place down an aquarium, which looks pretty nice, and where you can put fishes into it to cook later on, or simply have a nice aquarium. You can also attach some windows for a better view on these sides here. And as you can see, you can also build from the inside. And build things like the observatory. It's just for the beauty of the game, but it looks pretty nice, and yeah, it's a nice to have thing. Okay, another thing I want to talk about, which is very important and you definitely should keep an eye on, is the hull integrity. Each base starts with 10 health points or 10 hull integrity points. As you can see here, it says Foundation Reinforced Habitat Foundation plus 2 HP or plus 2 hull integrity points. That means with each foundation you place down, you gain 2 more hull integrity points for your base. There are other base segments like the compartment or the glass compartment or the moon pool, which reduce your hull integrity points. The moon pool, for example, by minus 1 HP, and once you go below 0 your hull integrity points, your base will simply flood. And to prevent it from flooding, it was the reason why I recommend to build your base on foundations, because you gain 2 extra HP from each foundation. There are other ways to increase your hull integrity by attach some reinforcements. As you can see, it gives you plus 7 hull integrity points. You can attach them on the side of your compartments or on your multi-purpose room, and each of them gives you 7 more health points or 7 more hull integrity points. There's another way to prevent some base segments from flooding. If you use the bulkhead right here, if you have placed one right here, and let's say this segment over here gets damaged by some circumstances, if this bulkhead was closed and was placed, the segments behind it will be fine, actually. Yeah, and if you keep an eye on it, you will be pretty fine. Alright, and I think that's it for this very basic tutorial. There are a lot of other rooms which you get later in the game, but because of some spoiler reasons I decided to don't show them and to don't explain them, so the full experience, the full discover experience is by your own. So thanks for watching, I hope I could help you out a little bit, and I see you in the next episode.